Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's podcast, Coffee with the Kensington. My name is Brenda Moynihan, and I am the Director of Marketing and Outreach at the Kensington Assisted Living Residence, and I'm your host today. During the podcast, we discuss everything related to seniors, their caregivers, and families. Today's topic is activities and the older adult. I've got a couple of guests here today, Donna Porchi and Christiane Lee. And let me just briefly give you some information on both ladies. Donna is the Life Enrichment Manager at the Kensington White Plains. She's been working in the activities department for over 8 years and was recently promoted to the Life Enrichment Manager position of the entire community, both the assisted living and memory care neighborhoods. She's been working with seniors in the activities arena for over 20 years in skilled nursing and assisted living. My second guest today, Christiane Lee, better known as Chris, is currently the Community Relations Associate and Digital Marketing Representative here at the Kensington. Prior to her current role, she was the Activities Assistant for the Activities Living portion of the community, creating activities for those residents without dementia. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's talk about seniors and activities. Tell me a little bit about keeping the seniors socially engaged. How do you do
that? Excuse me. We provide them with activities throughout the day.
Okay. Give me some types of activities or things that you do with, let's talk a little bit about the cognitively impaired senior. What are some stimulating activities for them?
So when we're working with the cognitively impaired, we tend to keep to a set schedule.
Okay, that's important.
Mm-hmm. So we would start the day with like a morning greeting and make sure we call everybody's name throughout the activity. Morning greeting. Good morning, Brenda. How are you today?
So
good morning, Chris. How are you today? Mm-hmm. How was breakfast? Oh, did you hear, Brenda? Chris had eggs for breakfast. Did you have French toast for breakfast?
Okay.
So we try to do that, and then we have exercise.
Okay, so tell me, Donna, tell me why exercise, physical activities are so important.
To keep them moving. It's better to have them moving, get them going, get them started for the day, wake them up a little bit.
Get that blood flowing.
Yeah.
So the blood also flows to the brain.
Sure.
Right? And, we're talking about the activities that are working for the older adults. You're addressing them by name, things like that, doing exercise. What about things that do not work?
There's no such thing as something that does not work. Everything works. It's the way that you present it.
Okay.
If you present it one way today and it's not working, maybe tomorrow present it another way.
Okay.
And it'll work.
So that for you, the audience, if you're at home, you may have your mom or dad or a loved one with you, and you're trying an activity. If it doesn't work, maybe as Donna said, try it a different way. Maybe if you're trying something with exercise, balls, maybe try a different color or a different way, the way that you're doing the movement, right?
Mm-hmm. Or a pool noodle or a scarf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we haven't talked about seniors or those folks with limited mobility. What are some types of things that you can do, some activities to do with those folks?
Well, we try it with exercise to get them to move their legs, even if it's just a little tiny bit.
Okay.
At least they're moving. We'll also give them the pool noodle if they can't open their hands. We'll try to give it to them in their hand if we can get it open. And let them move the pool noodle a little bit or try to raise it or lower it.
So now, Donna, are you saying someone who's in a wheelchair, is it okay to lift their leg? If you're doing some sort of activity, you're
if they
showing
can.
them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We haven't talked about this, but what about laughter? It's really not an activity that most folks think about, but I think it's very important for seniors. What do you think?
We laugh literally all day.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons why I love my job. If we don't make anybody laugh, then we're not we're not getting our job done.
Right. And think about exercise. Isn't it more fun to do it if you're laughing, if you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Maybe dancing because you're enjoying it.
Yes.
And you're not even realizing it's exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Chris, in your experience, working with the assisted living residents, what have you found that really works the best, that they enjoy the most? Anything that you can think of?
I've found that in assisted living and with the more cognitively clear residents, what seems to work best is always the simplest. Okay. And it requires the least amount of pomp and circumstance. It's not something that needs a lot of fluff and flash around it. Mm-hmm. I've seen the most satisfaction and substance come from a small discussion group that was not planned, mm-hmm. was not on a schedule, was not something that everybody gathered for specifically, mm-hmm. but just happened organically. And everything that happens organically is what we do in our everyday lives outside of communal living, mm-hmm. just for as long as we can all remember. When you're sitting around a table and you're having a snack or a drink or playing cards, and you just start talking about things that it doesn't have to be a show. Okay. And that's what always works best.
And, for some of our listeners who really don't know where to start, both of you have done so many activities over the years with the residents. Are there some resources that people can go to, whether it's online or at the library, somewhere where they can start? Because if they really have no idea what to do, are there any resources you can think of?
Well, the Alzheimer's Foundation has a lot of resources that they can just Google.
Okay, so they can Google.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's something else called Golden Careers that has a lot of free activities on it.
Okay, so they can do it virtually, online?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And get resources from there to do.
Okay. What about the library? I think the library has some stuff too, right? Books, activities, things people can just check out.
I'm
right?
sure.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And even just the experience of going to a library and just sort of perusing. I mean, you think about, when I think back to going to a library, I'm thinking there's something specific that I need. So I'm going there, I'm going to find it, I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to take it with me. Mm-hmm. But really just the experience of being in the library and maybe not even taking anything out, but perusing through things mm-hmm. and mm-hmm. flipping through, finding something new, something that you were not expecting to be interested in, that can be not only a whole afternoon, but it really takes a lot of good energy, positive energy to do, and it's a great way to pass the time.
So what I'm hearing is the activity doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
It could be something very simple. It could be something spontaneous. That could count as an activity. As long as your loved one, the senior, your mom, your dad, your uncle, as long as they're enjoying it, go for it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Anything else, ladies, that you can think of that you want to tell the audience?
I would say for people at home that are looking they feel like they've hit a wall with their loved one. They know everything that loved one likes, everything that they were good at, everything that they are interested in, everything. They probably know everything about that person, whether it's a parent or a spouse or something like that. And they feel like they're just hitting a wall. Why can't they stimulate this person with these things they know they love? Mm-hmm. Sometimes people put too much pressure on themselves as being the be all end all of making someone feel good and active. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to what Donna said before. It's really it really comes down to approach. Sometimes, I know for me, I can just speak for myself as a mother with my son, something that I know he loves to do, he may not want to necessarily do with me. Mm-hmm. And then the exact same thing could mm-hmm. be approached in a different way, in a different tone from a different person. And then that's what really sort of wakes it up. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of mm-hmm. sort of not taking things too personally. I know that Donna and I have loved to do activities, and there are activities we actually both know that we do really, really well, and that we mm-hmm. just, it's not our bag. And we've both seen instances where I've approached a resident and I know everything about what they like to do, because now as a move-in coordinator, I have to know everything that they like to do, and it just doesn't resonate. And then I'll watch Donna immediately afterward do the exact same thing, and somehow it just works. And that's okay.
Mhm.
You don't have to be that person for everything.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I'm hearing, don't feel guilty, don't feel bad if it doesn't work with you. And if there's someone else around, perhaps your spouse, your loved one, a child, a grandchild,
A neighbor.
let them try a neighbor and it could work.
Yeah.
It could be the mailman. You never know. You'd never
You
know.
never know.
It's true.
And on that note, ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. Coffee with the Kensington. Thanks a lot, folks.